Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special episode of Alberta Founders Podcast. Woohoo, we're still alive. The next episode will come after this, but this one is a special episode today because today we are helping one of our regular Alberta Founders Podcast listener and our dear friend Manav over here with their book launch. And it is an AI book for everybody watching us over here. So, welcome, Manav, to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Hans. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be on board and line with you and talking to your wonderful audience about AI.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, folks, so let's get started. So, Manav, are you ready for the deep, nitty gritty questions we ask everybody in this podcast? Are you ready for that?
Sure, I believe it's going to be rapid fire, so go for it.
Okay, wonderful. So, Manav, to all the people who are watching us today, which is students and first time founders who have never done anything about entrepreneurship, can you explain to us what is it that you do for your business and who do you serve as a market?
So, my profession is IT and cybersecurity consultant. I work with small, mid, and large scale companies as a consulting firm. And my company provides them any kind of consulting required for cybersecurity landscape or any AI governance models that they're working on. They need my help with. It's not limited to cloud security or infrastructure or server security. It's basically providing them knowledge, training, and also making sure the enterprise architectures are working fine.
So it's like more like cloud infrastructure and security and all that.
We analyze the gaps and do some risk assessments and see the security posture of the companies and advise them what needs to be done. For example, any kind of audit that comes in down the lane will be a helping hand to them to make sure they pass those audits and get what they need from the clients.
So it's an audit security. Nice. Let's keep on going. So, what made you actually interested to start or go in this avenue of cybersecurity? Was there an inspiration, or did you see a gap, or was it more of a knowledge based situation? What made you get started in this?
Well, that's a great question. It was both an inspiration and a knowledge gap. I believe I started in cybersecurity almost 10 years ago, although I have more than 25 years of experience in IT landscape. But cybersecurity started coming up as a major factor for all the organization to protect their assets, to prevent from operational, financial, and reputational damage. So I believe this is the most important part of any IT and cybersecurity landscape with a lot of attacks happening, including ransomware attack, phishing, social engineering, wishing, all these kind of things going on every day, and it's growing. I believe cybersecurity awareness has become a core part and a must for everyone to make sure their assets, their information, their confidential, personal, identified information must be protected.
Absolutely. So let's get the cat out of the bag. I think the let's talk about the next book now, because the book is focused on AI and cybersecurity and security together, all intertwined together. And I gotta thank you for sending the first draft. It's very nice, folks. And I got to read some couple pages here and there. But from what I was able to understand, it's for CEOs and founders who want to inculcate AI in their regular day to day. Is that correct?
Yes. We are not only limiting to people who are interested to take their career into AI, you want to learn about AI. It's more about an accountability perspective. Like a middle management or lower management can be responsible for doing the task, but who is ultimately accountable for their decisions? That's senior leadership. That's a CEO, CTO, CISOs who are basically controlling the whole gamut of technology in their organization.
Because I'm assuming you would have visualized the gap because everybody's talking about AI these days. Everybody knows what is ChatGPT, Claude, but from an organizational perspective, how can a CEO actually use the AI? Because we've seen all the memes of people using thousands of tokens every single day, and they're having millions in their bills every single month in tokens. So that knowledge is a genuine gap which needs to be filled. So can you explain to the audience like how exactly like what was your discovery, what gaps did you find, and what should we expect from the book?
So I was working on this book for almost 6 months or more, and I was also working on a prototype to prevent semantic leakage of data. Now, what is semantic leakage? Is something we put in AI that is confidential with content and context. Anything that resonates to SIN number, driving license number, passport number, anything that can expose your identity to the world, or it can help train third party language learning models. So we have to be very cognizant what we are feeding AI. Like AI is a convenience. It's not just about having a convenience. It's about responsible use of AI. Now, See it like this. If you give public internet access to your employees, what are you looking? You are looking for acceptable use policy. You are looking for internet use policy. You cannot just let them go on any site and bring any cyber attack or any vulnerabilities in your organization. You want to make sure they are responsible towards the use of public internet because it is connected to your corporate network. Same with
Mhm.
AI. There are tons of AIs tools down the lane, which is a convenience to the business, to the people, and that's great. But are we responsible enough to feed what we are trying to feed? Are we feeding every data into AI that could be PII, could be confidential information, or could result in semantic leakage? And that's basically the most important because no matter what the organization or employee does, the leadership is ultimately accountable, and that's what my books talks about different frameworks and what we can prevent, how we can be a more responsible user. AI we can still use as a convenience, but how responsibility we can use it so that we do not infiltrate into any data that should not leave company premises.
So, for example, if the company gives you a laptop and the employee doesn't know a resolution, they just go on Chat GPT, they just copy paste the whole company data, the whole project detail is now on Chat GPT, and now the GPT is telling you details on what you should do, speak to the analyst, do this with your manager, and then that's basically the leakage. That's where the data breach is happening. Wow. So, what recommendation would you have for a company owner if you can provide just a little snippet over here? What should they do? Should they have more better employee screening? Should they have better laptops or should they put cameras? Like, where do you see this going?
But it's not about just the laptops. It's basically awareness. Like we talk about cybersecurity, like an insider employee who does not have a knowledge about cybersecurity or any email or any message that could be a phishing attempt. How do you prevent it? You make them aware that what to click, what not to click. So cybersecurity is basically runs on stop, think, act. You just cannot go on and clicking on anything and everything you like or not like because it
Mm.
can bring so much threat and vulnerability in the organization that is very difficult to fix. For AI, it's the same thing. No matter what tool you are using, you must be cognizant what you are feeding. You cannot just feed any confidential data or all confidential data into AI to get quick answers. AI can spit out any answers for you, whatever you ask, but you need to be responsible on what to feed AI into. And that's why training about how to be a responsible AI user, how to govern AI, and how to make sure the company follows the AI policy. We have all kind of policies, but what about AI policy? There should be
Mm.
some baselines, some standards, some procedures that every employee must follow, and everything starts from the policy. And who designs the policy? Senior management, leadership. That's what my intent is.
Oh, absolutely. And the recent news where our Prime Minister Carney, he has an AI adoption policy for the whole country. So that's the new change that's happening. But based on your own experience and gap analysis when you were writing for the book, do you think CEOs and founders, and maybe the first time founders are watching this podcast with me and you right now, do they need to learn AI themselves? Like, do they need to learn what is Claude? Do they need to learn how to make images and videos? Or do they just need to understand how to manage it? Like, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. They should learn what kind of prompt engineering they are using, what kind of prompts they are feeding into AI, where these prompts are going. Even if it's AI is provided by the vendor, how much control of the data you have as opposed to the vendor? Do you have a right to audit clause? Can you put some contingencies into the contract so that your data stays with you and not going to any third party as a language learning model? Or can you delete the same data if by mistake somebody has fed confidential data? Do you have a right to delete that so that it does not go external? So those are the things CEOs needs to learn, needs to talk. AI is still at very infancy stage, and everybody is trying to use it for almost everything. And that's where responsible AI and AI governance comes into play. I have done my certifications on AI implementation and AI governance by ISO 42001 and ISO 27001, and I'm continuous learner of AI. So what I found is companies are using AI and trying to make things easy for them to compete in the market. But what they actually fail is when the audit comes, they have not checked the right boxes. And that's where we need to make sure you are not caught as minor or major conformities.
Yeah. Absolutely. And what would be your comment on the fear that people have these days about AI? They're thinking, oh, AI will take my job. I don't have the ability to understand even right now what's going on in my project. Future AI will replace me. I will not have a job anymore. Who will pay my mortgage? What about my kids? Will be on the street. The whole fear mongering, what's going on. So, what would you like to say about that? Do you think that's real, or what should people do about that?
Well, I would say it's yes and no. It could be real to some extent, and it could be unreal. Now, what does AI do? It's giving you convenience of something that you can do every day, like any regular jobs, anything that you can duplicate, anything that where critical thinking is not required, analysis is not required, thought process is not required. That can be replaced. But that's where there's a learning curve opens up for you, that upgrade yourself to learn something that can help AI do the right job right way. So if AI is feeding everything, if spitting all the data, are you there to monitor what it's spitting out? Are you there to cross check it? There's always a human loop. Are you there to govern this? So there's a lot of options that is opening up. So get rid of fear mongering thing, because whenever the new technology comes in, it has always opened more doors and more opportunities as opposed to closing the doors that were there before. And it gives an opportunity to learn, upskill, and be better with the new changing world of technology landscape.
So people should be more aware and get more education instead of being scared of the AI. Because believe it or not, this is our generation's internet. So it's going to be here. It's going to be consistently growing for a couple more years. But no, absolutely. Thanks for all those details. But coming back to your journey as a founder and you writing this book extensively for the last 6, 7 months, as you mentioned, what was the most mentally exhausting part of your business? Because everybody will see the final book, which will be releasing on the day this podcast goes live on June 12th. But would you like to share something? Like, what was it like your mentally exhausting part? Because I'm assuming you would have to sacrifice something. You were not watching television, you're coding, you're writing, you're editing. What was that? Would you like to share some of that with us?
Sure. As I mentioned that while writing this book, I was also working on a prototype to create a solution or tool that can prevent semantic leakage to get into AI and still spit out the right answers that people are looking for. At the same time, when I was working on this book, I was also studying and doing a lot of certifications. The most important thing I was trying to put forward is what I'm putting in this book is making sense. Every word, every sentence, every page, because this is going to bring value for the audience, whether it is fit for use, whether it is fit for purpose, for what it has been taken, or what for what it has been written. That's the most exhausting part. So I myself has kind of read this book 10 times and uh, changed the versions many times to make sure it delivers the value to any company or any organization or anybody who is reading this book. So that was the most exhausting point, where you touch the finishing line, but you go back to square one and then touch the finishing line again till you really feel that this is the real output you need to deliver.
So the proofreading aspect and rewriting and rechecking, that's the most exhausting part. That's what people don't see on the outside. No, absolutely. Now, coming back on that topic to the first time founders and students watching this podcast, would you like to provide them any advice on starting a new business, learning about AI? Because most of the people watching us, they would like to get started, but they haven't taken the first step yet. They're just learning wipe coding or they're learning their basics around ChatGPT or Claude. What would you like to say to them?
Well, I would say that don't rush into anything, no matter how small or how big solution you are trying to make, what kind of idea you are presenting to the world down the lane. You must make sure it serves confidentiality, availability, and integrity. That's more important, because once the trust is built with your solution or with what you're trying to deliver, it sells like a piece of cake. So do your research, dig deeper, find all the areas that can create gaps, do SWOT analysis of your ideas, talk to people, get their advice, find a mentor, find a coach, find someone who has already succeeded or even who has not succeeded. Everything gives you some feedback, some ideas that you are doing it right or wrong. So every idea starts from ideation phase before it reaches the prototype, and then it goes to minimum viable product. We all go through that. Even I have myself gone through that. So dig deeper, share knowledge, share about your product, and learn from others. Don't just rush. That's what my thought about those people who are trying to become a startup entrepreneurs, because the more time you invest inside the closed doors, the better the product will be.
Because people start jumping on different bandwagons, and we call this as shiny object syndrome, where one day want to do this, second they want to do this, third we want to start something else, and none of the projects are finished. There's not anything that's moving forward. No, absolutely. So how do you, as a founder, how do you keep yourself focused on one task? Like one day I have to got done this and I have to finish that and I have to move forward. Like, is it a specific mantra you follow? You wake up in the morning, drink your black coffee, do some push-ups, take a nice cold bath. Like, what is it that you do that keeps you focused on this path every single day?
So I follow a few things. Basically, I do not rush into anything quickly. I make a plan. So time management is most important. That's the first thing. Then take quick breaks after every 15 minutes or 30 minutes, because no matter how smart you are, you get bored into doing things more than 30 minutes. So take quick 5 to 10 minutes break. Go for a walk. Take some fresh air, because when you go for a walk, when you take some fresh air, you get some ideas, and naturally it basically comes out. Oh, I was doing this, but no, if I do this, so you can just do a mini pivots within your idea. So that really helps a lot. Do you a lot of yoga, because yoga really helps, calms your body, calms your mind. And obviously talk to people. Don't just be limited to yourself. Talk to people who are smarter than you. Even talk to people who have started working on this idea, but uh, boot off. Why they boot off? What did they find? What are the challenges? What are the limitations? How I can overcome? So those are the areas, and keep learning. Learning is the only skill that can get over any AI fear of losing your job. And that's what I did. Learning new things every day. Learn about AI, learn about prompt engineering, learn about GRC, learn about governance, learn about Python, learn about all these areas that surrounds AI and without which AI cannot survive, and how you can train AI to make things better for you, because AI is just a tool. What you feed, it spit. The smarter you feed, the smarter it spit. So you need to learn how to make best use of AI. That's what my feedback.
Absolutely. And to the first time founders and students watching this who want to get started on AI, do you have any recommendations on which AI they should start first? Is it a specific LLM, or they should just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or VO? There's so many these days. Which one would you recommend they should get started with?
See, the smart thing of using AI is no tool is bad tool. Every tool is great, and every tool has certain features that they are trying to provide. So whether you use Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity, challenge each other tools against each other. So if you have asked question to Gemini and you are not satisfied with the answer, put that question to the other AI and see what it spits out. And then same thing with other AI. So what you get is different perspectives, because AI is somebody who is talking to us from their knowledge base, from all the researches they did on the back end, and spitting the data out. And whatever you find makes more sense and resonates with most with your idea, pick that. It's not me, it's not you. Everybody uses multiple forms of AI for the same question. So that's what I believe. Don't stick to one AI model. Try different models, get your hands dirty, and see what you're comfortable with. If you are a researcher, if you want a quick answers, if you are looking for designing any model, if you are doing any coding, or if you are just a designer, there are different AI tools serving different things.
There's a little surprise that we have for you, which is called a rapid fire round. And this is the end of the first section. We'll just have a couple questions over here for you. In your business, in your writing every day to day, is there any specific metric that you check every single day that keeps you on path?
Yes. The specific metric I check is everything that I'm putting in my book is making sense. That's about it.
The book, that makes sense. Okay. One thing which has saved you more than once in your business.
Continuous learning, learning from my mistakes, never repeating it.
Wonderful. What is your favorite AI tool?
Lot.
Wow, wonderful. What is your favorite food?
Uh, I'm a vegetarian and non-vegetarian, so I'll go with the butter chicken on the non-vegetarian side and rajma chawal on the vegetarian side.
Nice. Okay. What is your final motivational phrases for a student or a first-time founder watching this? What should they watch out for? And when is the book coming out?
Embrace technology, embrace future, but learn from it and be responsible in what you do, because technology could be pain or boon. My book is coming out on 12th June, this Friday and evening, because this is the most special day for me. And I hope to hear from you for your feedbacks, any lesson learned, any continuous improvement that I can do in the book before we do a full blown launch sometime in the next few months.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that was it for me today. Thank you so much, Mana, for joining us today at this wonderful episode of Alberta Founders Podcast. I'm pretty sure the folks watching this would have a lot to learn from you today, and they will not be scared of AI anymore. They will get back to learning, and specifically the CEOs and founders watching this, they need to understand the frameworks. Themselves need to understand and learn about AI. And thank you for joining us today once again.
Thank you, James, for giving me an opportunity to talk about my book, about AI. And I feel fortunate to be able to speak to startup entrepreneurs who need some positive nuggets. And thank you for that.